Thanksgiving in Port Charles was supposed to be peaceful. At least, that's what Laura Collins kept telling herself as she arranged a vase of fresh chrysanthemums in her office at City Hall. But as the gray morning light spilled through the tall windows, Laura had the distinct feeling that the day had big plans for her. In Port Charles, big plans usually meant chaos. Still, today felt different, lighter somehow, and she couldn't shake the quiet sense of hope humming beneath the surface. She just didn't know her world was about to shift in 3 completely unexpected ways. Laura's happy surprise one, a homecoming. As she settled behind her desk to review zoning proposals, a soft knock interrupted her focus. "Come in," Laura called, expecting an aide. Instead, the door creaked open to reveal a familiar grin. "Miss me, Mom." Laura shot to her feet, so fast the chair nearly toppled. "Nicola's." Her son stepped inside, holding a small bouquet of white roses and wearing that unmistakable Cassadine smirk. "I thought you might want a better Thanksgiving than last year." Laura's breath caught. She hadn't allowed herself to believe Nicola's would return anytime soon, not after the split loyalties, the heartbreak, and the years of tension that threatened to pull them apart for good. But here he was, safe, alive, ready. She crossed the room and embraced him, relief flooding her chest. "I can't stay long," Nicola's murmured, hugging her tightly. "But I didn't want the holiday to pass without seeing you." Laura knew better than to push for answers. For today, she was content with the simple joy of a moment she didn't dare hope for. But it was only the first surprise. Isaiah makes a sacrifice. Across town at Sonny Corinthos' gym, Isaiah was pounding at the heavy bag like it had personally offended him. His conscience weighed on him more heavily than any workout ever could. He'd spent weeks helping to protect Gio, and he'd crossed more lines than he cared to admit. But last night changed everything. A mistake, his mistake, had drawn unwanted attention from a man whose reach extended far beyond Port Charles. The fallout could spread to people he cared about. Like Brooke Lynn, like Dante, like Sonny. Isaiah had always admired Sonny's world from a distance, but now that he'd brushed too close to the fire, he understood the cost of playing in the shadows. When Sonny walked into the gym, Isaiah straightened. "We need to talk," he said simply. Sonny raised an eyebrow. "Doesn't sound like good news." "It is," Isaiah swallowed. "I'm taking the heat for what happened last night. I know who's coming after us, and the only way to stop this is if I take myself out of the picture." Sonny's expression darkened. "What do you mean, take yourself out?" "I mean," Isaiah said, voice steady despite the fear he refused to show, "I'm leaving Port Charles, today, before anyone else gets hurt." Sonny didn't reply right away. He took a slow breath, almost proud, but also sad. "Sacrifices aren't noble if they're made alone," Sonny finally said. "But I respect what you're trying to do." "It's the only way," Isaiah forced a smile. "Tell Brooke Lynn, tell her I'm sorry." Sonny nodded once. "You'll always have people here, kid." Isaiah grabbed his bag, walked out of the gym, and didn't look back. The sacrifices people made for each other in Port Charles always came with a price, but Isaiah prayed his would be enough. KI is there for TRINA. At the Jerome Gallery, Trina Robinson was attempting to set up a new exhibit, but her hands weren't cooperating. She was supposed to be confident, composed, and brilliant, but grief had a way of undoing even the strongest people when they least expected it. Spencer, the ache never went away. Some days it slept quietly. Other days it clawed at her ribs, demanding attention. Today was the latter. A soft voice broke through her haze. "Hey, need help." Kai stepped inside, holding 2 coffees and a warm smile. He was grounded, steady, the kind of presence that didn't force anything but somehow made everything feel easier. "Thanks," Trina said weakly, taking the cup. "Just a rough day." Kai nodded. "Anniversary." She blinked. "How did you?" "You look like someone who's trying to hold the world together and pretend it's fine," Kai said softly. "I've been there." Trina's throat tightened. She hated crying at work, but a single tear escaped before she could stop it. She turned away, embarrassed. But Kai stepped forward, not too close, just enough to let her know she wasn't alone. "You don't have to pretend with me," he said. The sincerity cracked something open inside her. Trina set the coffee down and exhaled shakily. "I feel guilty for moving on, or even thinking about moving on." "Missing someone doesn't mean your life stops," Kai replied. "It means your heart is big enough to hold more than one kind of love." His words lingered in the air. For months, Kai had been a quiet support, always respectful, always patient. Never pushing her, never asking for more than she could give. Today, his steadiness was exactly what she needed. Trina leaned her head on his shoulder just for a moment. He didn't move. He didn't speak. He simply stayed, a small action that meant more to her than she could ever express. Laura's happy surprise, too, a news that changes everything. Back at City Hall, Nicolas finally pulled away to check his watch. "I have one more thing before I go," he told his mother. He handed her an envelope sealed with a Cassadine crest. "What is this?" "Proof that the charges against Spencer, they were fabricated. He's innocent." Laura's breath caught. "Nicolas, if this is true." "It is," he said firmly, "and I want you to use it." Emotions swirled in Laura's eyes. Shock, gratitude, relief, and the ache of a grandmother who missed her grandson with every heartbeat. "This changes everything," she whispered. Nicolas smiled faintly. "I thought you deserved good news." Laura's happy surprise 3, a family united. Before Laura could collect herself, her phone buzzed. A message flashed on the screen. "Incoming call, Spencer Cassadine." Her heart stopped. She answered quickly, "Spencer." His voice, warm and alive, filled the line. "Grandmother, I'm coming home." Laura pressed a trembling hand over her mouth, overwhelmed by joy that felt too big to hold. Port Charles wasn't just giving her a good Thanksgiving, it was giving her her family back. A town on the brink of change. By the time the sun dipped behind the harbor, 3 storylines were quietly unfolding that would reshape everything in the weeks to come. Laura's family was healing in ways she never dreamed possible. Isaiah's sacrifice would send shockwaves through Sunny's world. And Kai's growing closeness with Trina would open doors she didn't know she was ready to walk through. In Port Charles, surprises often carried danger. But today, they carried hope. And it had been a long time since hope felt this good.